That's what's happening on the right. That's the right trying to get hold of your imagination, which what I think are increasingly seeming to be the facts. The left, of course, is stuck on Rob Porter because they feel that women can be gulled. They feel that women are gullible and they can fool them. And you got to hear this. Rob Porter, he's the guy, right? He was accused by two of his wives of abusing him. One says it was emotional abuse. The other put out a picture of her with a black eye that apparently Rob Porter took the picture. We don't know why this guy wasn't fired before. Trump has been kind of ham-handed in his Trumpian way. He hasn't come out and said any. The president should come out and say, well, it's never right to hit your wife, unless she's really annoying. Donald Trump, that's what he would say. But Trump should come out and say something about this, but he doesn't. He keeps saying, well, Porter says he's innocent and the allegations are, untested allegations are bad and all this. All that is fair, but you do want to talk to women. So the left is just going after women as hard as they can, trying to get them really ginned up about this. And here, I love this. CNN has become postmodern. You can actually watch them building a lie into a narrative and building a narrative into a news story. And here they are. This is cut number 4. Here is a CNN panel telling itself that, yes, we are winning. They're buying, these stupid women are buying our narrative. Listen to this.
You're going to make a prediction that this is sort of the beginning of something that actually, let's just assert it. The Russia investigation has not done Donald Trump much political harm. Do you think that defending men who abuse women and men accused of sexual misconduct is going to be the thing that starts to eat away even at his 35% base?
I think it's been chipping away at him ever since the Access Hollywood video had his voice saying the kind of derogatory women, the language of sexual assault coming in his own voice from his own mouth. And I think that it's continuing now to the Stormy Daniels payout.
The amount of women that said, yeah, I know that, I disagree, but my husband needs a job. But I'm tired of this other stuff.
You can tell from Melania's bearing and the way that she publicly is handling herself in the White House that she's not happy. This narrative is sunk in.
I love he says, but my husband needs a job. That's not as important. These guys, what reality? These people want reality. We have a narrative. And, unbelievably, CNN brings on a panel of Republican women who speak such common sense to them. Obviously, nobody is in favor of spousal abuse. We all know it's a villainous, horrible thing to do. But these Republican women come into CNN and they speak such clear truth to them that it kind of gives you hope that maybe the people are listening to reality instead of to the news media. Let's just play this. This is a kind of a long cut, but it's worth listening because it's just the only time on CNN you ever hear any kind of common sense.
If the president walked on water, the press would say he doesn't know how to swim. He's become a little bit, I guess, over-criticized.
These Republican women from Miami all support President Trump. And to say strongly would be an understatement. But what about this weekend's tweet about how people's lives are being shattered and destroyed by a mere allegation? It was just right.
He said some are guilty and some are not. And not every accuser is telling the truth. And I think that's important to know.
In his tweet, the president didn't mention Rob Porter by name, but he also failed to mention Porter's 2 ex-wives who claim they were physically abused by the now former White House aide.
Some might look at this tweet and say the president is dismissing Rob Porter's ex-wives.
I think that he's speaking generally. I think he's speaking from his own position as someone that has been accused, wrongfully accused. So I give him the benefit of the doubt.
Do you think the president's compassion may have been misguided?
I don't think that it means that he doesn't have compassion for women. I think that if you leave something out of a sentence or you leave someone out, it doesn't mean that you're not thinking about them.
I think that we're victimizing the president, if you will, by the sense that every single word, every single tweet that he puts out is being scrutinized to the last molecule. I think what he voiced is valid. Should we take the victims into consideration? Absolutely. But should lives be condemned without due process? Absolutely not.
So despite this tweet, you all do believe that he is a great supporter of women and stands up for women's issues?
Absolutely.
As women, do you expect your president to be a voice for women?
He's not my moral leader. He's not marital counsel. He is our president, and he's doing a great job.
I just love it. If he walked on water, they say he couldn't swim. That is absolutely true. And listen, you know, I've always talked about the problems I have with Trump, there's things that he does that I don't like. But the media has just blown themselves up, attacking him so desperately, and they have no other strategy. CNN is now talking about laying off some of the guys in their digital divisions because I don't, you know, they say that the Trump bump, as they call it, has given them all these new viewers and better ratings and better profits, but they're talking about laying people off. I mean, soon there's going to be CNN people, ex-CNN, laid off CNN people standing by the side of the road with little signs that say, you know, we'll lie for food. And I think, you know, it's very sad, but at the same time, I think they're failing. I literally think that the voice of reality is overwhelming the voice of the culture. Let me just play one last thing that is on this show Homeland, which Homeland had one good season, the first season, and now it's kind of gone off the rails. What is it, Showtime, I think it is. So now they have a female president they introduced last year, and she was supposed to be, I guess, like Hillary Clinton. Maybe when they realized that wasn't going to play out, they've now turned her into Donald Trump, and there was an assassination attempt on her, and she is now arresting members of Congress. You know what? Let's not play it. It's ridiculous. I don't even want to play it. But I mean, this is what they're selling you. They're selling you this whole world of danger and crisis and scandal that's not actually happening. And it matters. That matters. The imagination of the people become the reality of the country. Just like when we imagine money, it takes on value. When you imagine that a crime is worth punishing, suddenly people are held accountable who would not be otherwise held accountable. So you are in charge of your imagination, and your imagination is in charge of the country because they have to serve it. They have to. And that's why I'm always yelling and screaming about taking back entertainment, taking back news media, not just complaining about them doing it, and especially taking back the universities.